Hello my friends. Today we're going to talk about living a car-free life and how it's not as scary as you might think to ditch that car, or at least drive your car a lot less and ride your bike a lot more, even on days like today when the weather kind of sucks. All right, okay. So welcome to Ryan Van Duzer's tips and benefits to living a car-free life and how you can do it too. Ready? I even made my bed for this segment, kind of. Looks pretty good, huh? First of all, and I want to make this very clear, I am not a car hater. I obviously understand the importance of vehicles in our society. I was raised by a single mom and she needed her one car to drive all the kids around. There were 4 of us and we had sports practices and school functions and all sorts of things. My mom needed that car. I'm just saying that we can use our cars a lot less than we already do, and we can ride our bikes a whole lot more. Let's start with my story. A lot of you out there might already have cars or have lived with a car most of your life, and you're thinking about making the transition to car free. I have never had a car in my life. I'm not bragging about that, that's just a fact. When I was 16 years old, I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna get a car. It was right when the environmental movement was getting really strong, and I wanted to do everything that I could to help Mother Nature. And I said, you know what? I'm never gonna drive a car. And this is when I was 16. So when all my friends got cars at 16, I kept riding my bike to school. And they would drive by, waving and making fun of me. And on those freezing mornings here in Colorado, I'd be riding my bike to school. But you know what? I loved every second of it, and I still do. Let's think back to some of your best childhood memories. And I can guess that a lot of them had to do with taking the training wheels off your bike and feeling that freedom of 2 wheels and just taking you out of your neighborhood. That was such an exciting feeling for me. You're ringing your bell, you got the wind in your hair, and it was awesome. Finally, when you have a bike as a kid, you have a little bit more freedom. And for me, I call my bike my freedom machine. To this day, I use my bike to explore my neighborhood, my community, and the world. It is all good. But somewhere along the way, we put those bikes in the garage and they hang up and we get our driver's license and we just don't ride our bikes anymore. We think bikes, they're just for kids. They're just a toy. I'm gonna drive my car because that's what adults do. And you know what? There's some truth to that, but we can get back to the joy of riding bikes as adults. When I'm riding my bike, I am happy and I'm smiling, and I'm guessing that you have a similar feeling. This is so amazing! Look at everybody on their bikes! So we just gotta get back to that feeling. We gotta make bikes cool again. You hear me? Make biking cool again. Of course, I have my own reasons for riding a bike and how it's beneficial to me, but I wanna give you some stats that might help motivate you. A short 4-mile bike ride keeps about 15 pounds of pollutants out of the air. 3 hours of biking per week reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke by 50%. And the average person loses 13 pounds in their first year of commuting by bike. And here's a big one. Adolescents who bike are 48% less likely to be overweight as adults. I promise you, I researched all these numbers. This is not fake news. And now I'm going to tell you the #1 best reason for riding a bike. It looked like 2, but it's 1. The best reason for riding a bike, and you can't find this number anywhere on the internet, any research, any books. And my friends, biking just makes you happier. People often ask me, Ryan, you're always in such a good mood. Morning, morning, good morning, Boulder! And I usually am. Of course I have bad days, I'm not a robot. But I am usually in a very good mood, and I attribute lots of that to being on a bike almost daily. Biking just makes you happier when you're moving your body and your mind and you're breathing fresh air and you're waving to your neighbors and you're feeling the sunshine or you're getting rained on. It's all just makes you feel alive. And that makes me happy on the inside. So no matter where I'm going, whatever destination I get to when I'm on my bike, I'm fresh and I'm ready to go, and I lock my bike up and I'm like, yeah, I got a little bit of exercise and whoo, life is good. Let's do this. There really is no better way to start a day than by jumping on a bicycle. You don't need coffee. You don't need any artificial uppers. Just a bike. Another really strong reason for going car-free or car light is that it saves you a lot of money. I've done some research online and it says anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 is what the average car owner spends on maintenance and gas and tires and air fresheners or whatever else you spend on a car a year. That is a ton of money. Living a bike life is way cheaper. You can get your initial bike if you don't already have a bike. You can get a solid bike for $300 to $500. You can go on Craigslist and find something used. And once you have your bike, you're solid. Maintenance on that bike is not a lot of money. We're talking new tires maybe once a year, a new tube here and there. And what can you do with all that extra money? Well, you know what I spend on that extra money? Plane tickets. I love traveling the world. I love seeing places, and I love bean burritos. And I eat a lot of bean burritos. Good night, burrito. I know there's a lot of excuses that come up when you think, oh, I could never ride my bike every single day. I could never give up my car because how am I gonna go grocery shopping? Because how am I gonna go on a date? Because how am I gonna take my kids to soccer practice? I have met families in Boulder and around the country that have no car. Tell me why you love riding your bike.
Because it's good exercise. I love riding my bike to school because it saves a lot of energy.
Yeah, what do you do if it's snowing?
We walk to school.
But of course the kids love it. It keeps everybody healthy and happy. And again, it is fun.
Right now we're walking to the bike racks, and then after that we go to our classroom doors and line up. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
Oh, I don't want to be sweaty when I get to work. That's like the #1 reason. My mom always says that to me. I don't want to be sweaty when I get to work. And that's a fair reason, I guess. But you know what? That sweat is a badge of honor. Do it for Mother Nature. Do it for your legs and your butt. Make them strong and sexy. I promise you, it will pay off and you will be happy. I'm very lucky that I live in Boulder, Colorado. It's a very bike-friendly city. We have over 350 miles of bike lanes and bike paths, and we're getting more every year. This is a community that really values cycling for health, for the environment, and just the general well-being of the city. And I truly believe that if we have more people on bikes, it creates stronger communities. When you're in your car and you see a friend, you just kind of honk and you wave at them and that's it. But when you're on your bike and you see a friend on the street, you can stop. It's easy. And you give them a high five and you give them a hug and you're more connected.
Free love, baby.
Free love. So good to see you. Another big excuse I hear a lot is the weather, especially here in Colorado. It's not always sunny and perfect. Of course, those are the days that I love riding my bike, but there are days where it is snowy and crappy and wet. And this is where you need to invest in a little bit of waterproof clothing. And again, it seems expensive, but it's way cheaper than having a car. These are the things that you want to keep dry when you're on a bike. Your feet, your ears, and your nose. If those things are cold, you're gonna be miserable. I've made a video about this and I'll link it right here. Bikes can take you where cars can't take you. A lot of times when I ride across town, I can get there faster on a bike because there are bike paths or other ways to get around. Cars have to deal with traffic, and traffic is no fun. Cars, you always hear about people getting road rage. You've never heard of somebody getting bike rage. That just doesn't happen. When you're on a bike, you're psyched. Woo! The more bikes on the road, the safer our streets are going to be for everybody, and especially our kids.
Say happy bike to work day.
Happy bike to work day.
What about carrying stuff, Ryan? What if I need to go grocery shopping? Or what if I need to buy a new printer and it's a giant box? Well, you can buy bike bags for your bike. I have a bike trailer, I have panniers, and I do all of my grocery shopping. I do all of my shopping on my bike. Unless it's something gigantic like a new mattress, well then I will ask a friend to help me with that. Or, you know what? Sometimes I take the bus. If this all seems really overwhelming to you, take a deep breath. You don't have to go like straight, I'm gonna sell my car and only ride my bike. Maybe you ride your bike and you mix it in with walking and taking the bus. You go multimodal for a little bit. The #1 reason people don't wanna ride their bikes is because they don't feel safe. And I understand that. It's kind of scary to be on a road and cars whizzing by you. That's the reason why my mom doesn't really ride her bike. She's a little jittery. She's a little jumpy. I am used to it because I've been doing it all my life. And I understand that it's overwhelming and scary. But there are people and organizations out there working to make it better. I was really fortunate to be an exchange student in Sweden when I was 18 years old. And that is a very, very bike-friendly culture. It's right next to Denmark, which is world famous for cycling. And what I saw there is that everybody rides their bike. My host mom would get on her bike in the morning with a little basket and ride to the bakery and come back and bring back fresh bread. Girls, like the high school girls I went to school with, would get all dolled up in their skirts and their makeup and whatever, and they would ride to parties. I never saw that happening here in the States, you know? People don't want to mess up their hair, they don't want to mess up their makeup, I get it. But they do it over there in Europe. Europe is a great model to look toward, something for us to strive for. We can do it. We can be like Europe. But maybe not as much of the tight clothes. I don't know. It's not really European style. It's not my style. But I do like their bike style. Europe has great bike style. Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Sweden, pretty much every major city in Europe has it dialed. And everybody rides bikes. It's just a part of their lives. So in conclusion, you can do it. I believe in you. I know that you can ride your bike more. And I'm not saying just kick your car to the curb right away. You can start riding your bike more. And if you don't have a bike, go buy a used one and get started slow. And I promise you, it will bring you back to that feeling of when you were a kid and you first learned to ride your bike and you had that feeling of freedom. Bikes are freedom. That's what they are, and they make you happy. They make your heart happy. They make the environment happy, your health, your wellness, your neighborhood, your community, everything. Bikes to me are the silver bullet to solving a lot of the world's problem, and it's a really simple way to do it. So if you're out there and you're wondering, man, I just don't know, just think about me in your head, screaming in your head, you can do it, you can do it, you got this. Hopefully not that annoying, but you know what I mean. Keep the rubber side down, my friends. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I make all sorts of fun adventure content, a lot of it on bicycles, and hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications when I make a new video. I would love you to be on Team Duzer. We are gonna have a lot of fun together. Let's go do it, and ding ding.